Last week, President Obama unveiled his executive order on immigration, protecting millions of undocumented immigrants. Now local Republicans speaking out about the move. The president's plan allows the Department of Homeland Security to take certain groups off the priority list for deportation, while keeping others high up. The president says they'll deport felons, not families. He also plans to put more resources at the border and allow immigrants with children who are legal to stay, provided they pass a background check and start paying taxes. The move largely applauded by the Latino community and those pushing for immigration reform. But Republicans say they're not taking this line down. They'll push back in a big way. Is stopping by the studio to tell Local Big 2 Stephanie Sobek and Tyler Thomason about the GOP's response.
Congressman Mike Conaway joining us in the studio now. Thank you for being here.
Good to be here. Thank you for having me.
Congressman Conaway, first things first, what's your reaction to the president's move?
Well, just like John Boehner said, we're going to do everything we can to stop it. It is the wrong thing to do at the wrong time. This president has proved himself to be untrustworthy. He tells us on the one hand that he doesn't have the authority to do it. Then he turns around and tells the American people last night that he does have the authority to do it. He was wrong one of those two times, and so we can't believe him. We can't trust him, and that's a stunning thing to say about the President of the United States. He's decided to assume that the ends justify the means. That is a dangerously slippery slope, particularly for someone who's the most powerful individual on the face of the earth to begin to act that way. And so, as Boehner said, he sabotaged, he's basically destroyed any opportunity we had to work with this fella because we can't trust him. When you pass a law, you're not going to write it. When you write it and you hand it off to the executive, you assume it's going to be faithfully executed. And this president's shown himself untrustworthy to faithfully execute the laws of the land, which is in his oath. And that makes it really difficult to work with him, if not impossible to work with him.
So where do we stand right now? Will his plan go into effect? And if it does work?
Well, it won't work. It simply continues to keep the folks he's trying to help in turmoil. Do they trust the government? Do they not trust the government? An executive order is at the whim of the president. He could just as easily turn around and unwind it. And so these folks are continuing to be whipsawed by what's going on. They're not going to be helped by it. The president would have been so much better off if he'd have laid out these things he wanted to get done and simply said, here, Boehner, here, Mr. McConnell, get this done legislatively in a relatively short period of time, and then we can move forward. But he chose not to. Which means to me he doesn't really want to fix this issue, and it's keeping these families at risk. So the president didn't really do anything. He didn't fix anything, certainly, and everything he did can be unwound at the stroke of a pen, and that's not the way these families need to be treated.
And lastly, to wrap it up, we heard from Speaker John Boehner saying the president has sabotaged any chance of bipartisan reforms in Congress. And just real quickly, it sounds like you agree with him.
I do, because a reform requires a law to be passed that we would trust the president to enforce. He won't enforce the Affordable Care Act the way it was written. He's got 37 times where he's done that. We've sued him yesterday over that issue. So handing him a legislative fix on immigration reform would require us to trust him, and that's going to be really difficult. So it's we could do a border security bill and then we could go after some individual pieces of the immigration reform. Comprehensive immigration reform is off the table. The American people don't trust the word comprehensive. Look how well we're enjoying comprehensive health care reform. So comprehensive is off the table. We should be able to go at it on a rifle shot basis, show the bill to the American people, work it through the congressional processes, let everybody have their chance to see it, as opposed to the Pelosi-Reed Obama model of the Affordable Care Act, which no one saw until 2 a.m. the morning it was supposed to be passed. So there's a better way forward, but this president's making it really hard. It's as if he does not want to make this to fix this issue, and his actions speak a lot louder than his words.
All right. Only time will tell. Congressman Mike Conaway, thank you so much for being here.
Thank you for having me on.